Welcome to Berkeley Engineering. I don't have to congratulate you again for your great accomplishment of getting in. I know it's not easy, so great job. And obviously, the circumstances and the situation right now is challenging for everyone. Obviously, I would have loved to have been able to meet with you in person, and for you to be able to come to campus and check it out and all that, see like these wonderful students in the background, and enjoy the scenery. It's sunny here in Berkeley right now. So, but everyone's handling it in stride. We're trying to do the best we can. And obviously, I hope your family and yourselves are staying safe and being well during these uncertain times. That being said, hopefully this Q&A session will help answer some questions that many of you have about this upcoming fall semester and your current admission to Berkeley. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So my name is Joey Wong. I'm an academic advisor here at College of Engineering Student Services. I've been doing advising for well over 10 years now. I'm a Berkeley local native. So I went to Berkeley High School, and then went to Cal, and then stayed. So I have, some good information, some pro tips on where to go eat, get some good food and things like that. So definitely don't hesitate to come in and ask me anytime you have questions. My pup sometimes find his way into the advising office as well and get some advice as well from me. So you shouldn't hesitate to do that. My life right now is busy. My now 2-year-old is always running around, and there she is. And it's busy, but fun at the same time. Now, again, I hope you are here because you were admitted to the College of Engineering as Engineering Undeclared, what I describe as the best non-major major in the school. Because if you're not sure what you want to do, that's okay. We don't expect high school seniors to all know what they want to major in and what they want to do at 17, 18, 19 years old. So this is a great non-major major to be in, because you don't have to choose right away. You can get here hopefully in the fall semester and start talking to people, assessing resources and getting a clearer picture of what each major in the college lends itself to do, and getting a better idea of what is material science engineering, what is industrial engineering and operations research. So those things are not simple answers, right? And you can go online and you can read about the departments and you can read about the major and all that, but really you can't really beat getting onto campus and talking to current students, current faculty, talking to all these research groups in different areas and finding out what major kind of fits for you and what you're interested in. So you're able to declare, engineering undeclared students are able to declare, there are all these majors in the College of Engineering, quite a few of them, and also not listed on these are also the joint majors, which are also an option if you're so interested. But the criteria is to declare the majors in bioengineering, civil engineering, electrical engineering, computer science, energy engineering, engineering math stats, engineering physics, environmental engineering science, industrial engineering operations research, material science engineering, mechanical engineering, nuclear engineering. All those are big mouthful, but you have some time to get to campus and figure out which major really best suits you. And obviously, if you're engineering declared now, but over the summer you come to some realization and you absolutely know that you want to declare a certain major as soon as possible, that's totally okay as well. After your first semester, you'll be able to do that. As engineering undeclared, declaring your major is pretty straightforward. You can pretty much declare any major as early as the end of your first semester. In order to declare any major in this College of Engineering, you'll have, as long as you are in good standing, which is defined as a 2.0 GPA, which is a C average for your first semester or so forth, you'll be able to declare. And at the same time, the students must declare by the end of the fourth semester, which is the end of your sophomore year, which ideally, you should have a good idea by the end of your sophomore year, fourth semester, of what major you might be interested in and what major you might want to declare, because by that time, going into junior, senior year, you'll be moving on to upper division courses that kind of focus on that department or that major. Now, moving on, there are certain things that if you're thinking about certain majors that your first semester schedule should kind of include or at least explore. So if you're thinking about bioengineering, there's a bioengineering 10 intro class, and then also a seminar, BioE26, that you want to enroll in for fall. For civil environmental engineering, things like CSC8 and CE92 are great. That's a data science course and also a civil engineering intro seminar course. Electrical engineering, computer science course, intro computer science to CS61A, or if you don't have as much programming experience from before, you could consider CSC8 or CS10 if there's no prior programming experience. If you're interested in material science and engineering, intro to MSc, MSc 45, and the lab is a good course to explore. Mechanical engineering, there's engineering 25 and or engineering 26. And nuclear engineering, the nuclear engineering 24 or engineering 11 are all kind of set up to be intro exploratory classes in those specific departments. So, the benefit of being engineering undeclared is that you're not locked in, right? So you have flexibility in choosing what you kind of want to explore and what you want to take to see if that is a major or that is a field that you're interested in declaring. Now, a great resource is Engineering 98 during the fall semester. It's a decal course that titled The Insider's Guide to Berkeley Engineering. It's a E98 is a decal course for incoming freshman engineers like you. They're facilitated by usually juniors and seniors in engineering, students with diverse backgrounds and experiences. The decal and section meets weekly with useful activities, little homework, and social emphasis. Topics include like course registration, campus life, resume building, interview tips, using test banks, finding internships and research, schedule planning, professional development, etc., things like that. So it's a great thing to look into if you're planning to enroll in a decal, which are student-led kind of courses in the fall. But enrollment in that usually can happen, later in the summer, or even beginning into the fall semester when fall semester starts. Some quick useful resources and guides. Engineering Student Services, that's our website, engineering.berkeley.edu/ESS. If you haven't been there, I definitely recommend exploring it. There'll be a lot of FAQ for freshmen. There'll be all the degree plans for all the different majors. Another great resource is our Not So Secret Guide to Being a Berkeley Engineer, which is a podcast developed by our team. And it's definitely a good option to check out over the summer, especially if you're sheltering in place like many of us. Pop on that podcast and review some good info. And obviously, you don't have to listen to all the podcasts. There will be ones that are more tailored towards freshmen and towards new students. So you can pick and choose which ones you want to check out. And then the catalog and course selection for classes.berkeley.edu. You'll see a list of all the upcoming classes offered summer, fall, so forth, and descriptions. And Berkeley course information, berkeleytime.com is a good resource to take a look at if you're able to see things like enrollment trends and past course grade distributions and things like that. So check those out if you have time. And then now we're going to move on to our question and answer portion, and we have a lot of time, so that's good. So if you have questions, feel free to send them in the chat, and then I can try to answer them as they come in. So let me know if you are able or not able to access that chat. So some questions here. As an international student, how can I do few courses online this summer? If you are considering taking summer courses this summer, because of the current situation with the pandemic, there are actually, Summer Sessions is actually offering all its classes remotely. However, and it's an option. You can totally look into Summer Sessions through Berkeley. It's summer.berkeley.edu. And all the classes this summer, specifically, because of the whole pandemic, all the courses this summer are being offered remotely, which is online. But at the same time, you want to keep in mind, especially if you're an international student, that not all of the summer courses are going to be taught asynchronously, which means that some courses will have live lectures, which means that the time difference may be impacted, especially if you're international students, and it may be difficult for you to attend those live lectures for those summer courses. Some summer courses would be worked out to be taught asynchronously versus synchronously, meaning like the lectures will be uploaded and you can access it 24/7, which makes it a little bit easier if you're an international student because you don't have to worry about that time difference. So you want to keep that in mind. In general, the college advising office don't necessarily promote or recommend that new freshmen take many summer courses. Ideally, you take that summer to relax, review, and get ready for the fall semester. But saying that, we understand that this summer is unlike other summers because of the whole situation, and that students may want to engage in an online course through summer because other options may be limited in terms of activities and things like that. So summer.berkeley.edu, check it out if you're interested in looking at summer courses through Berkeley. Next question, besides GPA requirement, are there class prerequisites to declare a major? That's a good question. So for engineering undeclared, there is no class prerequisites to declare a major. So, if you are looking online and you're reading up on a lot of stuff on change of major and things like that, a lot of things come up in terms of, oh, there are certain like prerequisites and classes, but that doesn't apply to engineering undeclared students, as the only criteria that's needed is that you need to be in good academic standing. Now, once you declare a major as engineering undeclared, and then you decide that you happen to want to change majors, then there may be criteria that comes into place. So you want to keep that in mind. LNS, an LNS student hoping to do simultaneous degree with engineering field. How many people do it? And do you know anyone personally that's attempting simultaneous majors? So yes, it is possible. I don't know how many of you are in this meeting as LNS students, but it is possible. But obviously it's not guaranteed. So simultaneous degree is when a student is doing a degree in 2 different colleges, and it's definitely possible. We definitely have students who do simultaneous degrees between different colleges. It takes obviously some planning, and obviously it would mean more classwork and things like that. But if there is interest in doing that, then definitely it's something that you can pursue. The main thing about that is that you want to look at the change of college website under the College of Engineering, because if you're applying for a simultaneous degree and you're LNS student, you'll have to meet those criteria for change of college as well. So the only engineering major that you would not be able to do a simultaneous degree is with EECS, so Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, which is not open for simultaneous degree students outside of the College of Engineering. Student Jonathan is wondering how easy it would be to double major with EECS and IUR, or with EECS and Haas. So, similar with the previous question in terms of doing a simultaneous degree, whenever you're doing a major plus another major, or a major plus another minor, even, it's all about planning and all about scheduling your semesters moving forward, right? It also depends on what you're coming in with in terms of as a freshman, whether you have AP units, whether you've taken courses at other colleges or community colleges and things like that. So, there's no straightforward answer to how easy it would be to double major. So, the best thing to do is, my advice is to focus on one major first, and obviously see if you want to explore any intersection between that major and another major. That's when a double major or simultaneous degree makes more sense. Does College of Engineering have something similar to LNS W1, where you may explore many classes within one? There are definitely seminars and decals that I kind of mentioned earlier. The Engineering 98 decal that's led by students is not quite the same as LNSW1, but it's definitely a great intro kind of exploratory guide with firsthand student perspectives and things like that, that would, I think, help in this case. What GPA what GPA, I'm guessing, what GPA is needed to declare EECS? So again, the answer to that is for engineering undeclared students, if you're admitted to engineering undeclared, um, there is no class criteria. So the GPA criteria is 2.0. So you have to be in good academic standing after your first semester. And that's when you can declare EECS as engineering declared. And yeah, is it possible to double major in engineering in another department? Again, yes, it's possible. Answered that previously. But again, I'm seeing a lot of questions about double majors and simultaneous degrees. That's great. That's awesome that you're interested and you want to explore different fields. But at the same time, you know, obviously we want to advise students to one, focus on one major first and go from there. Obviously we can plan. I can definitely help you plan and consider what courses to take if we were moving forward with a double major or simultaneous degree. But you know, first, as an engineering undeclared student, the best thing would be to focus on the first major to declare. Um, what Victoria asks, what is a typical undeclared engineering student's experience? It's a good question. I would say that it's not much different than other declared engineering student experiences. I think the biggest difference is that engineering undeclared students are able to take that first semester, first year, even that first summer into second year to kind of really decide what they want to major in, whereas other engineering students are admitted in a declared major and they kind of have to take certain classes kind of structured throughout their first semester and first year already, whereas for engineering undeclared, there's some flexibility. So I think, you know, that's a typical kind of difference between engineering undeclared students and students who are already declared a major. If you are admitted into a major in engineering, are you also allowed to change to a different engineering major after first semester? I'm guessing that question means that if you're admitted to a major that's not engineering undeclared, that's a specific major, whether it's bio-E, civil, EECS, or ME, or anything like that, are you also allowed to change to a different engineering major after first semester? So most cases, yes, but there are certain criterias that come into play. So the difference between being engineering undeclared and a declared major is such. So, you know, so if you're engineering undeclared, the criteria is 2.0, good academic standing after your first semester, and you can declare pretty much any major. Whereas if you are already a declared major in engineering and you want to change to a different engineering major, then there are certain criterias that come into play depending on the major. So some majors will have a GPA cutoff of 3.0, some have 3.2, some have 3.4, et cetera, et cetera. So it really depends on what major you're trying to change into. Are most lower division courses available / offered online? You know, on a regular basis, no. On a regular semester, most lower division courses are not, you know, offered online. They're in person. They're held on campus. But obviously, with this whole pandemic, all lower division courses this semester have been moved online. So We don't know how it's going to look going into fall semester yet, whether it's going to be in person, online, or a hybrid version, things like that. But the question of are most lower division courses available or offered online? I think the answer to that is uh, um, the answer to that is no, but it could be. Hope that helps. How can you explore engineering majors while graduating in 4 years? How can you explore a major outside of double major? Thanks for the question, Marcia. So there are some difficulties in exploring a lot of different engineering majors and graduating within the 4-year time limit, right? So we want to be strategic in the first semester and second semester in which courses we enroll in and which courses we take to explore our majors that we're interested in. Ideally, we're narrowing down our major of choices to 2 or 3. And when we get it down to that, we usually can find courses that overlap between the majors that we can take to kind of explore and see which major we want to do. Will I require F1 visa to do summer courses online? Good question for international students who are thinking of doing summer courses this summer. I don't believe so, because you're not actually coming into the country during summer. I don't think it's required because you're taking summer classes and they would be all online. But the best thing to do would be to check in with summer session and also the Berkeley International Office for verification. Do I recommend taking any basic lower level classes over the summer? To try a wide range of class. Do summer classes count toward major? So yes, summer classes can count towards your major. If you're taking courses here at Berkeley, or you're taking courses somewhere else that's articulated and evaluated as equivalent, they can count towards your major. But I guess the more question is, do I recommend taking classes over the summer to allow for more space in the schedule for the regular academic term, fall semester and spring semester, so you can explore more? You can. I don't recommend it one way or the other. It really depends on your specific situation as a student in terms of what you have going on during the summer. Like I said before, previous years in general, the advice would be to take that summer off and prep for fall semester, not necessarily take on classes, because you'll be in classes, don't worry, for this upcoming 4 years. So there's a lot of classes to be had, so you can take your time and don't necessarily need to start the summer. But at the same time, because of the whole summer being different this year because of the whole pandemic, our regular advice may have to change. It may have to be updated in terms of what you want to do for the summer, because options may be limited in terms of other activities and things like that. So taking online courses, being sheltered in place and things like that may actually make more sense. So it really depends on your situation and depends on what classes you might be interested in taking and things like that. Will Berkeley do away with face-to-face requirement for international students for the summer courses? My guess is yes. I don't know for sure, but all summer classes are remote and are going to be online. There were some cases where some online summer courses kind of required a student to take the final at the very end of summer. but that's very class dependent, and it varies by class. But at the same time, I don't think for this summer that it's going to be any face-to-face requirement at all for this summer. That's my best guess because of the whole COVID-19 situation. Victoria asks, are there any examples of engineering undeclared student not being able to declare their first choice major? If so, why couldn't they get into their desired major? No, I mean that's not an issue. If you're engineering undeclared and you meet the criteria and you're in good academic standing, then you'll be able to declare. There's no max capacity or limit that prevents you from declaring a major. The only time when a student in engineering undeclared is not quite able to or ready yet to declare is if they're not in good academic standing. Allison asks if we're already declared engineering major and realize that we actually want to explore, can we plan out like we're engineering and change majors? Okay, yeah, so this question came up a little earlier. If you are already a declared major in the College of Engineering, then you can definitely pursue a change of major, but there are certain criterias that come into play depending on what major you're exploring and what major you want to change to. So the best thing to do is to check in with your ESS advisor about that change of major process and criteria, so you have a clear idea of what is needed to make that change of major happen. Again, so if you're declared already, I don't know, ME or civil or whatever, and you want to change to bio-E or nuke-E or whatever, then you want to work with your academic advisor to make sure you have a plan in place to do that and meet the criteria and all that. How do individual study research classes work? Are these good ways to explore different majors in engineering? Yes and no. Independent study, individual study, or research classes, usually if students are doing research in a lab or with a graduate group of some sort, they can enroll in units, and that's usually how it works. So you can do that. Whether it's the best way to explore different majors is kind of tricky, because usually when you're doing research or you're doing work within a group, it's usually kind of more focused on a certain area or field of engineering, right? So it doesn't necessarily lend you to explore many different engineering majors, but at the same time, within a group or within a research lab, there's so many different skills and majors that are in play that you may be able to get a good overview picture of which skills, which majors kind of bring to a research group, and that might help you kind of figure out what you might want to major in. So most undeclared students declare their major. Good question. So most students, I find, will declare their major pretty much after their first year or at the beginning of their sophomore year. So either at the end of spring 2021 for all of you, or at the beginning of fall 2021. That's usually when most engineering undeclared students will declare, because by that time you would have a full year of classwork, and you would have had an opportunity to access all the resources, peer advisors, faculty, department advisors, faculty advisors, and all that, student groups and stuff like that, to kind of get a good gauge of what majors you might be interested in, as well as a summer opportunity during that freshman, sophomore summer that may have given you a clearer idea of what you might want to pursue. So most students will declare either at the end of spring 2021 or at the beginning of fall 2021. And they will still be on track to graduate within 4 years or less, because our average graduation rate is actually below 4 years. So it's definitely possible. It will have to be possible to graduate in 4 years. We have RB has a question about BioE coursing to take as an elective if your interest is in biomedical devices. 61A, computer science, a decent prereq, or do you need CS10? Okay. So if you're interested in bioengineering, BioE 10 is definitely the correct fall semester freshman course to explore and take. If you're specifically interested in the biomedical devices concentration, there are some lower division intro courses along that concentration that you want to explore. Most will revolve around design, like an engineering 26 course or a EE 16A type course, where it's like circuits and things like that lends itself to further upper division biomedical device concentration classes. So on the bioengineering website, you'll be able to find the different concentrations and which courses are kind of geared towards biomedical devices. Is AP Computer Science a decent prereq for CS61A? I would say probably. I think if you have programming experience in high school and you know some of the basic programming languages and know the language in terms of functions, and you know how to describe and work a recursive function into a program and things like that, then you're probably okay to start with CS61A, because CS61A is designed to be an introductory course. Many students don't find it to be an introductory course, but it is supposed to be an introductory CS course, especially if you have prior programming experience. If you have zero programming experience and you haven't done anything with programming, then yes, it would be advisable to start with either CSC8, which is a data science programming course, or CS10, which is an intro and the beauty of computer science or something like that. Another question. Suppose you meet 2.0 GPA criteria and are you only accepted to EECS or other major space availability? No, there's, like I said, there's no space availability, no limited space availability issue in terms of declaring your major as an engineering undeclared student. What does a typical engineering undeclared student schedule look like? So, remember in the previous slides, there were some courses that, depending on which major you're interested in exploring, that you would want to take. So you would start off with that way, right? So if you're interested in material science engineering, then your schedule would look a certain way. If you're interested in exploring EECS, then your schedule would look a certain way and things like that. Johnny asks, is EECS a popular choice for engineering undeclared students? The short answer to that is yes, because, well, I mean, EECS is our biggest major here on campus. So, you know, many students will go towards that. But we definitely get engineering undeclared students, you know, doing and exploring and declaring all different majors. But if the question is, you know, which, you know, major is quote unquote the most popular or the majority of students declare, yes, it is EECS, simply because that's kind of the makeup of our student population right now, because that is the biggest major on campus. What are the benefits of declaring the major early? Good question. So, you know, when you declare a major and you know what you want to major in, there are definitely certain benefits. You get set up with a department, with a faculty advisor, with a faculty or department mailing list, and more specifically, you get higher priority in many of the lower division major specific courses to that major. So, you know, some of these classes will have reserved seating for certain majors, for certain declared majors. So when you declare that major, you are able to access that reserved seating when you're enrolling in classes. That being said, there are some lower division courses where there are reserved seating for engineering undeclared students as well. Usually they are the first semester, second semester type courses. And so that's why, you know, after the first semester, second semester, if the courses that you're moving into are more specific to certain majors and have reserved seatings for specific majors and not necessarily for engineering undeclared students, then there's definitely benefits to declaring early. What is the application process into student clubs? Well, it really depends. Depends on the student club. I think different clubs do it differently, so it really depends on what club you're interested in. I know a lot of consultant clubs have some interview process and application process that you have to go through, whereas some other student clubs have, you know, a pretty straightforward and informal process to join. So it really depends on the student club, and you know, you won't really get a good feel for which student club kind of fits or works with you until you probably meet the club and sit in on a meeting or two and figure it out from there. But if we have AP credits, how does that impact course selection for engineering undeclared majors? Well, just like any other major, you know, if you have AP credits for, you know, like calculus, then you'd have the ability to go forward and take other math courses, right? So depending on, you know, what AP credits you have, you know, you'll be able to schedule differently. So the best answer to that is that, you know, once the summer orientation starts, or Golden Bear Advising starts, there'll be an online orientation that walks every student through, you know, okay, what AP tests have you done? What scores have you gotten? This translates to this course credit and things like that. Basically, the online orientation that you'll be able to access in June will help kind of build a schedule for the fall semester, a suggested schedule for fall semester, depending on, you know, what you've answered in terms of what AP credits you have and things like that. Is declaring engineering major guaranteed with 2.0 GPA? or do students face difficulty declaring a low-end 2.0 GPA? No. So as engineering undeclared student, as long as you're in good academic standing, which is 2.0 GPA or above, you'll be able to declare. No difficulties. Do other engineering majors have higher priority than undeclared when it comes to choosing courses? Are there any limits to class size? So similar to that question, so it depends on the course. So some courses are restricted to declared specific engineering majors. And that usually comes in the sophomore, junior, senior years, right? So as further along you get into that major program or major track, the more limited or priority that the class is going to give to their declared majors, which makes sense because if you're a junior or senior, you want the students in your major to be taking those courses. So, but during the first semester, many of the first semester intro courses, students who are engineering undeclared also have a reserved seating for some of those courses as well. Cal State Fullerton made their fall semester online. Personally, as in me, do I think Berkeley will do the same? Thank you for the question, Melinda. I don't have a crystal ball, but if I were to guess, my guess would be that we will be moving to some sort of hybrid format where the larger classes would not be able to be held in person because social distancing would not be possible. And some of the smaller classes, like discussion sections or labs, where social distancing is available, is possible, that could happen. At this point, is just a guess. So, hey, your guess is as good as my guess. But I think we all can agree that moving into fall semester, that things will be different. Things will be different than the previous semesters and previous academic years. So, and that's gonna be the same across the country, right? So it may be different in certain spots, how different it's gonna be, but it is gonna be different no matter where you are. But I haven't actually heard Cal State Fullerton had made their decision on that yet, so I'll have to double check. Last time I heard, I don't think any school has fully committed to fall semester being online yet, but I'll have to double check that. Thanks. How many students get admitted to engineering undeclared each year? Roughly this year, there are about, I believe, 180 students who are admitted to engineering undeclared. But we cannot hear you clearly. Hopefully you can hear me now. If I declare my major after first semester, but then realize I want to pursue different majors, is it possible to switch then? So again, like I said before, if you're engineering undeclared and you declare a major, and then afterwards you decide that you want to change majors, then you would have to abide by the change of major criteria depending on which major you're trying to change to. So at that point, you want to make sure that you're working with and talking to your academic advisor about your change of plans at that point and see if it's still possible to change majors. Keep in mind that students are not able to change majors after their sophomore year. So after your sophomore year, you wouldn't be able to change your major. Can we take upper division courses without yet declaring a major? Generally, yes. I mean, generally, upper division courses, are available to engineering undeclared students. However, many of the many of the upper division courses have prerequisites. So if you don't have the prerequisites, then you really shouldn't be considering taking the upper division courses. Some of the impacted majors and impacted upper division courses will have reserve seating for their specific major. So depending on the upper division course you're asking about, if you're not declared that major, then yeah, it would be hard to get into that class. Let's see. Is the process first come, first serve, or merit based? I'm not quite sure what that question is referring to. If you're referring to declaring the major, then there's no first come, first serve. I mean, if you're engineering undeclared, again, you're able to declare as long as you're in good academic standing. What is the minimum number amount of courses we need to take per semester? So the College of Engineering has a minimum unit of 12. So you need to be at least 12 units per semester. So that's the minimum. Do you know approximately what percentage of students in the College of Letters and Science actually earn at least a 3.3 GPA? Unfortunately, I do not know that answer. I do not know what percentage of students in College of Letters and Science earn at least a 3.3. Do AP Computer Science credit count? Yeah, I mean, there are certain AP Computer Science test exams that does give some credit. So, on our engineering website, if you look at under the exams AP page, you'll be able to see what computer science tests you need to get credit. Do undeclared engineers have trouble getting classes? For the most part, no. Like I said, many of the lower division introductory courses that you would take during your first semester have reserved seating for engineering undeclared students. After declaring, when should students start taking upper division courses? That depends on where you are in your schedule and in your plan. If you have finished all your lower division, then yeah, by all means, you should start taking upper division courses. When / can / should we start talking to our ESS advisor? Well, if you're engineering undeclared, we're talking right now. But if you email your ESS advisor, they will most likely tell you to chill out and go through the GBA online orientation first in June, because that we find will answer a lot of questions that new students have before we reach out to you and talk one-on-one. Because there will be opportunities in the summer that we make and schedule appointment to talk to you. But that would be after GBA, which is our online orientation version in June. So once you finish GBA, shortly after that, we'll be able to probably schedule an appointment and talk about our plan, your plan for fall semester. What are some good places to eat around Berkeley? Oh, okay. Now we got some good questions here. Good places to eat in Berkeley when we are not sheltering in place and we can actually go to that place and eat. There are a lot. There are a lot of good places. Cheese board is definitely very popular with students. We have some good burger places. We have some good, really good Asian food. So If you're into boba, there's like a boba shop in every corner. So, once we get back to some form of normalcy, hopefully, um, we'll be able to enjoy some of those places to eat around Berkeley. I've heard that within the next 4 years, there's a good chance of an aerospace engineering major. If we were interested in that, what would be a bad idea to wait declaring that major? Okay, so from what I remember, there won't be an aerospace engineering major, but that will be a specific, very, very prominent concentration within, I think, mechanical engineering. So, if you were interested in aerospace engineering to begin with, the natural major that you would gravitate towards is mechanical engineering anyways. So, but I do believe, like you said, that within the next 4 years, there will be a very well-established curriculum and concentration and program plan of aerospace engineering within the mechanical engineering major. Do EEC students have reserved seats for upper division? Yes, for most part, most upper division EECS courses will have reserved seating for EECS students. Is the process declared for joint majors also any information about joint majors? Yes, the process to declare for joint majors as an engineering undeclared student is the exact same as any other majors, because a joint major is still one major. So as engineering undeclared, you can declare a joint major. However, it's very important for you to make sure you understand that joint major fully before you kind of commit to that, because the joint majors is very, very specific in the intersection and the courses that overlap each other between those two majors. So there's a joint major between bioengineering and material science. If you're interested in the overlap between those, then yes, the joint major makes sense. And the upper division course requirements for that joint major are very, very specific to which upper division courses you need to take. However, if you're not interested in that intersection, then there's really no reason for you to pursue that joint major. How often do engineering get internship opportunities? So the general answer to that is often, I guess. So being in the area that we are in, being near the Bay Area and to the Bay Area and the Silicon Valley and all that type of stuff, there are a lot of internship opportunities just locally around the area, right? And that lends itself to being in this great area, great space. We're gonna wrap up soon. I think one more question maybe, and then we're gonna wrap up. If we are simultaneous to be hopeful and go through transfer college process, would engineering advisor be assigned to us? So before you declare that simultaneous degree, you would not be assigned a ESS or a college engineering advisor. You'll have to make sure that you work closely with some of our peer advisors who are specifically trained and tasked to help students navigate that change of college and simultaneous degree process. I think that's about it. Thank you all for your questions and for making it to the Q&A session. Hopefully I'll get to work with you guys this summer, upcoming summer. I wish you guys the best, staying safe and keeping healthy. And yeah, let me know if you have more questions throughout the GBA orientation process and after you finish and all that type of stuff. Good luck on your decision. It's going to be good no matter what, I'm sure. So best of luck to y'all, and go Bears.